Monica desperately needed a heart transplant, but she had been unable to find a donor. Danny comforted her and promised that he would soon find a way to help her recover. After saying goodbye, Monica knew her chances were slim, but she felt lucky to have a boyfriend who loved her. But then, Monica saw Danny walking happily with a pretty nurse outside her hospital room. Shocked, she decided to sneak out of the hospital on a rainy night to go home and see if Danny was cheating on her. Quietly opening the front door, Monica tiptoed down the hallway and saw clothes scattered on the floor. When she reached her room, she saw Danny and the pretty nurse doing something unspeakable on the bed. Monica screamed in anger, but then Danny turned around holding the heart he had just taken from the nurse. Monica suddenly realized Danny's good intentions. After a while, Monica fully recovered, and she and Danny buried the body in their backyard. Monica was grateful to have a boyfriend who would do anything for her. Albert and Lynn were a loving couple who were busy and happy fixing their car in the garage one day. Suddenly, something unusual happened. Two strange monsters appeared in their garage, surprising them both. The monsters grabbed Albert without saying a word, and when he tried to resist, they both got stunned by an electric shock. Lynn woke up to find Albert missing and felt desperate, but didn't give up. She picked up weapons and set out to search for him, realizing it was the most important thing in her life. She followed the clues and found the monster spaceship, but she saw a shocking scene. Albert was being violated by the monsters, and it turned out that their spaceship was broken, and they needed Albert's help to fix it. With Albert's help, the spaceship was repaired, and the monsters were grateful for their help and said goodbye to them. If you encountered aliens who needed help, would you help them, or would you capture them in exchange for a hefty reward? Please leave a comment and share your thoughts. Craig and his wife were waiting for their upcoming child, but unfortunately, in a terrible car accident, the wife lost the baby. Craig's wife was heartbroken and couldn't shake off the heavy blow. She always cried and couldn't sleep because she still held the urn as if the baby was still in her arms. Although Craig tried everything to comfort his wife, she seemed to never be able to get over the sadness. One late night, Craig woke up and found his wife had not returned to their room. He was worried about her and went to the living room to look for her. He found his wife sitting on the ground, performing a strange ritual. He shouted loudly at her, "It's time to let go." However, something unexpected happened. The urn in his wife's arms began to move, accompanied by the sound of a baby crying. Since then, his wife has become extremely happy. She loves her child like an enthusiastic mother, and they play together. But Craig cannot join in their fun. He still feels uneasy, and he cannot be happy. Keith met Kelly on a dating website and they hit it off immediately. They soon fell in love and got married, and later they had a beautiful, lively baby. One day, while Keith was playing with the baby, he noticed something strange. The baby's face had transformed into a devilish grin, and Keith thought he might be imagining things because of his stressful job. The next day, when Kelly was in the kitchen, the baby made a chilling gesture in front of Keith. He was sure that it wasn't just his imagination anymore. That night, while Kelly was asleep, Keith decided to take matters into his own hands and get rid of the devilish baby. As he approached the baby's crib, Kelly suddenly woke up and stopped him. She begged him not to harm their child and revealed the truth to him. Kelly wasn't human, and their baby was the result of the union between a human and a demon. Do you believe that there are demons, aliens, and lizard people living among us in our city, but we just don't realize it? I would like to hear your opinion. This woman had just lost her baby, and she was eating the hospital lunch with a heavy heart. Across from her were a couple who were eagerly anticipating the arrival of their child. Suddenly, the wife felt a contraction and they were taken to the delivery room. The wife pushed with all her might while the husband held her hand and encouraged her. Unfortunately, the midwife delivered the heartbreaking news that their newborn had not survived. The couple cried tears of sorrow upon hearing the news. The midwife carried the baby down the long hallway, turning right at the end where the kitchen was located. At dinner time, this woman, like the one at the beginning, ate the tasteless hospital dinner with a heavy heart. This is a story that doesn't have a conclusion, but it's enough to send shivers down your spine. Bob is exploring deep in the jungle. Suddenly, a pitch-black cave catches his eye. He cautiously makes his way inside. But what he sees leaves him stunned. There lies a woman wrapped in spider web. Quickly, Bob rushes over to help and gives her his coat. He carries the injured woman to seek help. But they have been walking for so long that the sky has grown dark, so they rest for a while. Suddenly, a beetle startles the woman awake. She extends her tongue and accidentally kisses Bob. Gradually, Bob realizes that something is not right with the woman. She is actually a spider demon with 6 legs. It is then that Bob discovers he has been wrapped in spider web. He pushes the woman away, but she does not intend to harm him. In his panic, Bob realizes he brought a document showing a giant spider. He knows he is in danger. Several months pass in the blink of an eye. Bob and the woman live happily ever after, and have children as the happy fruit of their love. Have you heard of this legend? If a pregnant woman cruelly kills a life, the soul of the murdered will be reborn into her child, haunting her for life. In a village in Africa, there exists a strict hierarchy where many people are enslaved. Among them is a small slave who is often sent to serve the lady of the house, washing her feet and such. However, this small slave secretly peeks at the lady's secret garden while washing her feet. The lady became very angry when she found out and told her husband, who was also furious. He stabbed the small slave and pushed him off a cliff. The slave's pitiful cries echoed through the night. Later, the lady gave birth to a child, but everyone was shocked by the child's appearance. His face was exactly like the small slave's. The man believed that his wife and the small slave must have done something unspeakable, so he stabbed his wife. Whether this legend is true or not, it warns us not to do things that harm others, otherwise we will suffer the consequences.